Okay, so let's start. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your time zone. I greet every one of you on this great conference, EduTalks, which aims to bring together educators, trainers from different countries to discuss and explore and share the latest developments and challenges in the field of education. This conference is a great platform for learning, sharing ideas and insights, and collaborating with one another to find solutions to the pressing issues that we face in our daily work in the field of education. It's an honor for me to be here with all of you, and I'm grateful to the IIU and its founder, Sir Piyush Pandit, for this great chance. So let me first begin with giving you brief information about IIU, International Internship University. It's a leading virtual education system. It's trusted and well reputed all over the world. It provides more than 1,000 courses and internships to the young generation of the globe. And with the help of its more than 1,000 global educators. In a short span of time, it has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit. So I'd like to begin with inviting our guest of honor, Arifa Hanum Rasulova from Azerbaijan, and she will enlighten us on
error analysis.
Yes, great. So you are welcome, dear Arifa Hanum.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, let me first. Okay, you can share it yourself. Okay.
Yes, I hope so.
Okay, if it doesn't work, I can do it.
So, thank you for your attention, actually. It's my pleasure to perform today. And most of you I accept as my already friends, far friends, but really friends. So now I hope that we'll be in contact in the nearest time. So today I want to speak about error analysis. As working a teacher, we each time we face a situation when we should assess, evaluate, analyze the work of our students. So error analysis is a method used to document the errors that appear in learner language, determine whether those errors are systematic, and explain what causes them. We have 2 kinds of errors, overt and covert. Overt they are which are shown openly, and the covert they are not open. For example, if we compare 2 situations, for example, as it's given here, I angry, it's obvious, it's out of the context, whereas covert errors are evident only in content. For example, if we say that it was stopped, actually grammatically it's correct, but if we mention that we mean the wind, we can't say that it was stopped because it's out of speaking. We can't stop wind. So actually some kind of errors are seen very open, and the others should be taken through the content. This is one of the problems of mistakes and errors of our students. So why is error correction important? So as you see, it is given here in a short list. It informs the teacher about their learner's progress. It provides evidence of how a language is acquired. It identifies what strategies the learners should employ to learn a new language. It explains the common errors they do, and it tweaks the teaching to suit the student's level. I want to pay attention to the last one. When we speak about errors, we forget about the level of students, because working in heterogeneous classes, you know, it's very problematic. While the process of introduction and work on errors, the explanation, some students are open to understand the explanation, the introduction. Some are very, very close, and it's a problem. How to present the topic in order to make it understandable for the students of different levels. The role of error correction in teaching and learning process. I think that it's one of the main moments in the process of teaching, because I can know the language, I can speak very frequent, very well, but I can't explain the rule to my audience. So speaking English, knowing language, it doesn't mean teaching and presenting. So in this case, we identify different kinds of people speaking foreign languages. One, they are not ready to share the knowledge with audience. The other one, maybe they know a little bit less than you know, but they are open to audience. He is actually trying to explain everything in details and on the level of their students' knowledge. Error correction is a process by which students have to identify the error or mistake in a sentence and convert it into grammatically correct sentence. When we actually speak about error analysis, we should mention Stefan Koda, who is named as the father of error analysis. He was a linguist at Edinburgh University, and he made a very great contribution to study of error analysis. According to Koda, he has three categories. First, it's the first two teaches how far towards the learner has progressed and what remains for them to learn. Second, how language is learned or acquired, and what strategies or procedures the learner is employing in their discovery of the language. And the third, the making of errors can be regarded as a device the learner uses in order to learn. What should be done in order to make this process easier? So the steps are given here. Collection of a sample of learner language, identification of errors, description of errors, explanation of errors, and evaluation of errors. It is suggested by Koda. I think that it's a very good way of explaining, but in this way we can say that we have three types of errors analysis. The first is when we speak about gross errors. Sometimes we have the terminology blunders. It's a stupid, careless mistake. Actually, you can't say that he or she doesn't know this rule, just it was frequent. Random errors, they occur due to chance, and systematic errors. We always focus on systematic errors because systematic errors are included in the table, which is prepared by the Livebot and Krashen, and they put them into four categories: omissions, additions, misinformation, and misordering. If we look at the samples which are given here, for example, omission, yes, she knows that this is third person singular and it needs is, but it's omitted. I can't say that she or he doesn't know the rule. Additions, when we use extra form of the verb, for example, like here, we didn't went there, we didn't go, surely this is the rule. But in any way, it is also addition, we have some extra form which is not necessary in this situation. Misinformation, again, it is, as you know, we always have the problem with irregular verbs, how to use, how to add ed, and so ending, and so on and so on. And misordering. Misordering mostly we face too in questions, in swapped, in preparing, writing the sentences, when the students often change the placement of the sentence members in any way. So if we use this taxonomy, we can demonstrate which errors are the most frequent and which of them need our attention as a teachers. As you remember, we mentioned that we should categorize the errors made by our students. It gives us the chance to do it. 10 most common grammatical errors. Mostly we focus on grammar. It is commas, it is subject-verb agreement, it is pronoun usage, it is apostrophe usage, colons and semicolons, downlink modifiers, sentence fragments, their versus their. Actually, pronunciation is the same, but spelling is different, and sometimes we have such kind of mistakes. Which versus that? Because in adverbial clauses, in complex sentences, we face the situation when we have this situation. And who versus whom? Because in who we have one structure of the sentence, in whom we have the different one. So the students should differentiate. It means that not they should differentiate. We can explain it in such a way in order to make it clear for them. So it's not one and the same word, even if we have the same translation in native language. But made a distinction between local and global errors. Local errors affect single elements in a sentence, but don't prevent a message from being heard. Noun and verb inflection, use of articles, prepositions, auxiliaries. Error affects merely a part, clause, or phrase of a sentence. Global errors, they affect overall sentence organization, and they prevent the learner from comprehending some aspects of the message. For example, we can name here wrong word order, missing, wrong or misplaced connectors, modifiers, subject-verb agreement, and so on. Error correction techniques in English. I think that here we can differentiate the role of teacher who is eager to help, who wants his audience to learn, like a play maybe, you know, to make it easy for understanding. So repetition, you know, I faced the situation when I saw it in a real situation in England, when this sentence during maybe our presentation and so on, our professors, they repeated the sentence showing where is our mistake. So we should repeat it. And it is very easy, but it doesn't touch our students, maybe not hurt them, because you simply repeat the sentence in correct way, showing how to say it. You can ask them to repeat in chorus or individually. It depends on the teacher. Then reformulation, body language and facing expressions, you know, it's also very interesting, you know. Students repetition, how will you pronounce this word or this sentence, get show as a sample. Self or peer correction. Actually, it's also very interesting because while working at school, I surely, and not only with school children at the universities, also with my students, I also use this self and peer correction. It's very interesting. When you write, you don't see your mistake, but when somebody wrote it on the board, you see and say, oh my God, yes, it's not correct. So this is my mistake. Causes of errors. Norris classified it 3 times. First, it is carelessness, as we mentioned before, the same. First, language, because and translation. If I take as a sample our situation. For example, in Azerbaijan, we have two types of sectors. We have Russian and Azerbaijani. But the word order is very difficult. English word order, it's close to Russian version. But in Azerbaijani, we have the different one. We always have the verb at the end of the sentence. And how to explain, how to show it as a sample, it's actually very difficult to work in Azerbaijani because connection of the first language is not. We don't have any connection with the first language. And translation. It was sometime maybe 15, 20 years ago in methodology, it was mentioned that never translate, just give definition, explain, and it will be clear for your students. But if you have more new words in your definition than actually the one word which needs translation, it makes the situation awful. So maybe in some cases it is easy. You can use the object, you can show the picture, and use your face, the body language, and so on clear. But I think that translation can't be excluded in the process of teaching. The methods of written error correction. Actually, we have correction of mistakes in oral speech and in written. So they are not the same, they are different. Two basic types of error correction when we have direct, when I ask you to rewrite the word or the sentence, or ask your peers, I mean the classmates, to show, underline the mistake and show the mistake in this way. And indirect, when we underline the error and use correction codes, or you can underline the mistake, for example, in the word, and ask the student find himself what is the problem, what is not correct, or ask his classmates to show and explain. In this case, it's more resultative than just simply correct the mistake by the teacher. Correction in English grammar, it's a grammatical practice by which the knowledge about the verb, tenses, spelling can be accumulated for constructing meaningful sentences. Correction in sentence refers to usage of appropriate articles, verbs, adjectives, nouns for constructing meaningful sentences. The key word is, I think, meaningful sentence. Actually, you can write and you'll say everything is correct, all the words are written in correct form, but we lose the meaning of the sentence when we have the miswritten the word, like there and there, who and who, which change the meaning of the sentence. How to correct errors in English sentences? So actually, we avoid repetition, we use parallelism, ensure there is subject-verb agreement, avoid making wrong comparisons, pay attention to word choice, pay attention to modifiers. I want to focus on the fifth one, word choice. You know that in English we have a number of synonyms which are translated into, for example, first language. They have the same meaning, but in English you can't use one word instead of the other because it depends on the meaning of the word, it depends on your content, it depends on the person who acts, and so on and so on. So that's why it's actually a little bit difficult to explain to the students that one word in, for example, in Russian or Azerbaijani has 4, 5 synonyms in English, and you should identify which to use. Actually, translation, if you translate, look through the vocabulary, you see the same meaning, but it's not the same. So it is, you know, it's an interesting, you know, in this case, you should give the content and explain what's going on. Forms of error correction. First of all, ask the students how they want to be corrected. Some students react when you reflect on their mistakes in classroom actually, in the presence of all the students. Some of them will be they will easy comprehend the mistake if you explain it to him or show individually. So in this case, you should know your students in order just only address how would you like to be done the process of correction, individually or in class. It's the one version. But the other one, for example, if you after let it be spelling, let it be grammar test, dictation, I analyze the mistakes and find out the number of, let it be 2, 3 mistakes, which are equal to all of them. So it means that, first of all, it is my mistake. It means that the presentation was not exactly done till the end and they couldn't catch the main difference. And then to focus on it, maybe to write this sample with the mistake on the board and ask them to find, so what's wrong? And how will you explain? How will you correct it? And in this case, actually, it will be easier them to catch and maybe to give them some 2-4 samples in order to write in class and then analyze all together. We should concentrate either on accuracy or fluency. You can't assess both of them at the same time and get some information exactly correct. If you want to check accuracy, just only use the code reflecting how many mistakes on accuracy you have. So what you should focus on and how many on fluency. And it will give you the chance to analyze first your work and then share information with your students. Self-correction is the best form of correction as it guides the student to take responsibility and grow in confidence. Give the students enough time to self-correct without harsh and impatient judgment. I remember when I was at primary school, I was school children. We had spelling, and after completing the dictation, the teacher said, "Now I'll read it again, check your writing." Oh my God, yes, I forget comma or dot at the end of the sentence. So it was a way of self-correction. The teacher gave us the chance to correct, to find the mistake ourselves. Peer correction, for example, change your sheets of paper, just correct, underline, and the last one, it is also very interesting. New mistakes or the same old mistakes. If you, for example, compare it with your previous material, you will say, oh my God, again, the same mistake. What's going on? Or no, the sentences are written correctly based on the previously taught material, but it's the new one, so we still have time to work on it. Correction codes. You know all of them, so it's not very new actually. That even writing dissertation, we found such kind of codes on our writing, on our dissertation. Were just maybe not this one, but a little bit a different one, and also they also use the codes in order to show. You can have, for example, a list of code correction codes in class just only to show your students, to make them informed. And putting this code, you can just only explain, and they will see how many mistakes and on which rule they have and what should be done by the teacher or by the students. If we work on error correction games, I want you just only to focus on it. I like such kind of teaching. It is teaching and learning, both for students, for teachers, for young beginners. I mean the newly come young teachers who just only started their work. And which one? For example, error correction races. You know beforehand that on a piece of, in this paragraph, you have 5 mistakes. You give them time limit and say, oh my God, I'm going to count till 10. How many mistakes are there? It's also interesting. They also, you can check the rule, you can explain, you will see the result, and it's also a game. But now it's the easiest way to check the rule which was taught, actually. Error correction. Error correction pair work, the same thing you can do working in pairs, for example. Error correction mastermind, you can give the exact number of mistakes, for example, or you don't mention the number of mistakes. Just ask the student to find, underline, and you will check and explain what was omitted, what they missed, and so on. Error correction reaction race. You give the time, you can use it as a pair work, as a group work, or individually. You have 5 minutes to find, to give me the number of mistakes, either in grammar or in comprehension, in spelling, as you wish. It is also a sort of game, and it's also a way of checking the knowledge of your students. Correcting mistakes in oral work, it is the different one, exactly different. Oral corrections are provided directly by the teacher, but it may be elicited from the learner or by another student also. I remember when I was a student of university, our teacher, I mean the Methodist from university, during the practice, she asked us make notes, plus and minus, what was correct in the lesson of my group mate, for example, what will you change, and what was wrong, what was right. And after analyzing our notes, she started explaining what was right and what was wrong. So in this case, you can use this method also in class. For example, the teacher can give the correct version of the student and ask to repeat after him. Basically, it is recommended not to correct a learner's mistake in fluency work, but it depends on the situation, of course. It's individual, you know, it depends on the level of your students, situation, and it depends on the teacher and his audience. The main thing is how it is expressed. It should be gentle, supportive, and tactful in any way. The best way is observation with the following responses to the mistakes. Different approaches to the feedback. Feedback is also the way of analysis of your mistakes. Feedback is the information given to the learner about his or her performance of a learning task. The feedback on oral work is given through speech, on written work, through writing. Feedback has two main components, assessment and correction. In assessment, the learner is informed how well or badly he or she has performed. In correction, the teacher gives to the student specific information on aspects of his performance, and the teacher should include the information on what the learner did right as well as wrong and why. The key word is why, because here you need to give them explanation. Now I want you to look at 3-2-1 strategy. It's also one of the techniques which is widely used. It is prompt, helps students structure their responses to a text, film, lesson by asking them to describe 3 takeaways, 2 questions, and 1 thing they enjoyed. It provides an easy way for teachers to check for understanding and gauge students' interest in a topic. I'll change this task a little and ask you to formulate the following. 3 important facts I learned from today's training. I mean, you learned from today's learning. Because even now we are learning. And 2 interesting thoughts and ideas. And you still should have 1 question which is unknown for you and you would like to ask. So if you have such kind of question to ask me, I am open for discussion. And in this case, I just only want to complete my presentation and say you thank you for your attention. And really, I think that the questions which were mentioned here should be analyzed by each of us during our work in order to make the process of comprehension, introduction, presentation easier and understandable for our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Arifa Hanum. Error correction is an important topic in teaching because it helps our students to learn from their mistakes. It fosters language accuracy, and also it promotes a deeper understanding of the target language, I think.
Yeah.
And we know that you have joined us, you are not at your home, so it was a bit challenging. So thank you again for sharing your
It's
valuable...
my pleasure. Thank you. But I'm very, very sorry. I have to stop my, I mean, the attendance, the situation today, because the group of people, they are waiting me outside in a bus.
Okay.
So I have to leave. Thank you very much. I
Thank
wish
you.
you
Thank you so much
success
for joining us.
and be happy, and congratulations with the coming Christmas and New Year. Hope that everything will be okay in a coming New Year.
Yes.
It's leap year, you know, but in any way, I hope it to be happier for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear Arifa. Yes, and now, dear Inga,
yes, dear, thank you so much. Really brilliant presentation, a very important topic. Thank you.
Yes.
And please, dear, stop sharing until we can continue.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
No, this is not stop sharing. Okay, dear, you...
Yeah, I can stop it, yes.
Yes,
okay,
great.
so it's okay now. So now I would like to invite our guest from Brazil, my dear friend Vilma. You are welcome.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you
Hello.
for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here and learn with you all today. And I can see so many friends around here. It's a pleasure. Hi, Vaughn. Hi, Inga. Hello, everyone. Diana
Hello.
also. Hi, everyone. So, may I share my screen, please?
Yes, of course, you can.
Thank you. Okay. Can you see it?
It's coming.
It's coming?
Yes, now it's.
Now you can, I guess. Okay. So, hello everyone. I'm Vilma Barbosa from Brazil. And nowadays, I'm an English teacher and also a communication English coach. So I've been working around here and with students from different parts of Brazil and from different parts of the world, helping them to communicate better in English. So I found out and created a different approach in these last 4 or 5 years. And then today I'd like to share with you some tools that I have been using with my friends in order to empower them to communicate better in a confident and independent way. So in the beginning, when I got started teaching English around 20 years ago, I was used to think that I was supposed to correct everything that my students were saying, that I was supposed to help them pay attention to their errors and mistakes. But along with the time, I discovered that we shouldn't focus too much on mistakes, because that way we would be blocking our students' confidence. When you stop your student and say, hey, that's not right, you're not saying it correctly, you kind of block them because they get more worried about their mistakes with the perfect grammar, with the perfect pronunciation, and then they get stuck. They can't communicate. So the way I do today is I don't correct my students at all. And then when I say that, people say, what are you doing then, Vilma? You're making your students, you're not helping them to learn English in the correct way. Well, as my focus is communication, I help them and I teach them different tools to learn by themselves, to correct them by themselves. So I empower them to speak English fluently in a very confident way. And here are the tools that I teach them to use. Here in Brazil, unfortunately, so few people speak English fluently, but I have achieved many good results here with my students, and they have been speaking English in a fluent way. And we don't focus on errors. Why? Because when you are talking with people from different countries, have they corrected what you are saying? Have they ever said, hey, Inga, your English is not correct, your pronunciation is not okay? No, they don't do that. No one cares about your pronunciation. No one cares about your perfect English or your perfect grammar. And it doesn't mean that I don't help my students with grammar, with the correct pronunciation. That's why I teach them some tools and they will be doing that by themselves. I tell my students that speaking English is the same thing that performing in a drama play. So once you are in front of people, you don't have the time to read your script, do you? You can't check the correct pronunciation, you can't check the correct lines, but you do that in the backstage. So that is what I do with my students. I teach them different tools and then they do that before, they practice before, but once they are talking with someone in English, they don't worry about anything. They don't worry about grammar, about mistakes, about correct words. They just remember and they just use what they have practiced before. And so sharing is caring. This is something that I really love because once you share what you know, others learn from you, and when others share things, you learn a lot from them. I have learned a lot from Inga, from Diana, from Vaughn, and today I'm happier and I'm more knowledgeable because of them, because they were kind enough to share. So that's why I like sharing. So how do you improve your knowledge? How do you learn things? Do you share your knowledge? This is something really important because people don't like sharing their knowledge. They don't like sharing their tools and the way they learn because they think that the other ones will be better than they are. But I don't agree with that. And I truly believe that we should share our knowledge, and then this way we'll be learning more and more. So, how I learned the importance of sharing. Everything started on March 2021 when I was invited for the first time to be part of an international conference by two teachers from Croatia, and they were so kind to invite me and my students to come. And that was our first meeting, and since then, we were learning and sharing a lot. So now I'm going to share some tools and apps that have helped my students and I to improve a lot our English. So one of the tools that we use is this one, Lingui. And I share this one with my students to help them practice their listening and their writing as well. So we speak Portuguese language here. When they are basic level, I help them and I motivate them to use English at first. And then when they have texts, they can use this. They can use the deep lingui for English to Portuguese, Portuguese to English. And the best thing that I like about this one is that you can check the words in context. So it's more reliable than Google Translator. So it's a good one. This is one of the tools that I empower my students to use to learn more. For example, if I am teaching them about simple past, then I explain the rules and all the things. I give them more exercises, and then I motivate them to come here and use this platform. Here in this platform, so you come here in this platform, for example, I taught them about simple past. Then they come here and they will search simple past, the same thing that I taught them in class. So they will have lots of videos talking more about simple past. And once I taught them about simple past, they will be able to learn more about it just in English. The subtitles are in English. They can listen English and read the subtitles in English. And they have extra activities. So this is a great platform for them and for teachers to learn more and more. So here the teachers are all from different countries. So you have lots of topics here, lots of resources, um, business English, comprehension, culture and tips, expressions, grammar, everything that you want, you can find in this platform. And I share this with my students and I motivate them to learn and to expand from what I'm teaching them in the classroom. So this is one of them. One that I love too much. I know that my time is short. I will just show this one in detail, then the other ones a little faster. So have you heard about Youglish? This is one of the best tool ever. So here in Youglish, you can type, oh, come here, Youglish. So here's my link. On Youglish, then you can type the word there. Oh, it's not coming. On English, you can type the sentence that you want. For example, I'm talking about sharing is caring. So once you type there, it will bring lots of different videos talking about that expression. And then you can see the expression in context. Here I have 108 videos from different things, from different places, and then you can listen the word in context. If you don't like the video, you can go to a next one. For example, here, who gets all the pies? There are many videos about different topics, and then you can see the sentence or the words that you want. So the students are able to listen and to practice their listening and their speaking at the same time. And here in this platform, if you enjoy the video, they are small videos, lots of small videos. You can read all the subtitles from the video. You can listen sentence by sentence. You can repeat. You can go forward and come back. So English is a great one for practicing listening and speaking. And this is the way the students learn how to speak well in real life, in real context. And then I don't need to say, to tell them it's wrong, it's correct, because they will learn by themselves. They will become independent. Once in the beginning, I used it to say, oh, you should be more careful here and there. Later, after they stop saying, they stop talking, today I give some appointments for them. Here, maybe you could say it in a different way. You could practice more here and there. But I never stop my students while they are speaking, because this is not real life. When someone is speaking, no one stops you and say, hey, you're not saying it right. So this is another tool. It's called PI, and PI is artificial intelligence, when you can talk about anything that you want. So, for example, you are preparing your classes about environment. Then you can come here and it helps you prepare your classes. The students can talk about anything they want. For example, if you have an architect student and he is planning a project, he can come and talk with PI. Here you have grammar activities, live worksheets. They correct themselves and it's perfect to make them more confident and independent. Simple Past, they are learning. So they come here and do more extra activities on Simple Past. Here for speaking classes, speaking lessons, you have the sentence, the questions ready. You don't need to spend your time preparing the questions. They are ready. So you just, for example, I'm teaching about childhood. Then I come here and I write childhood word wall, and the questions will be ready for you. There will be more activities, there will be games, and it will be really fast for your students. Here, TED-Ed, they have small videos, and your students can learn more about anything that they are learning in classroom, anything they are interested about, that can come here and practice their listening and speaking and learn more. Canva is a great tool for teachers and all for students. They prepare presentations. My students are writing letters these days and exchanging with students from different countries. So they are using Canva to prepare their letters. This is the best app ever. Real Life English, it's a platform. You have English, how to learn English, how to make your students more independent. So you can come here, you have podcasts, you have articles, you have everything. And the best is that they created an app that you download in your cell phone and you can connect with people from different parts of the globe and you can talk for free for 4 minutes. And if you are enjoying the conversation, you can extend for 8 minutes. So you'll be practicing your English with anyone around the globe for free. This is empowering our students to communicate, isn't it? And Giglish is another tool for practicing English. And the difference between Youglish and PI is that Giglish suggests the sentence for you. Then you'll be improving your English and your communication faster. Do you use any of these tools? Do you know any of them around there? Do you use there? Yeah, I'm happy to know. So, do you know any others? If you know any different tools, please share, because when we share, we care about the others and we empower the other ones to learn as we know. Share is caring. Thank you for giving me the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Vilma, for sharing with us this wonderful list of student-friendly tools for learning
Thank you.
English. It was great.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
dear.
Thank you
And
so much. As always, you're amazing. We are proud of you, my dear. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. Thanks, Inga.
Wow.
yes, dear. I know that you all are busy. You all have busy schedules, but I hope you won't mind if I call next our dear guest phone, Eric Tandok, because due to the difference in time, it's almost
Yeah.
morning there. So
Yeah.
please, you are welcome.
Well, thank you very much, and good to see familiar faces here. So, Vilma, thank you very much for your sharing. I honestly don't know much of the link that you shared, but thank you. Oh, I know Canva because I love, and you're right, Canva is it's really great. Okay, so I'm thinking what I'm should going to present tonight. Inga, my friend, said it's about how to teach English, communication, and everything. And then I'm listening to two speakers before me, and one of them is Vilma, and he said, when you correct your student, you should not say, oh, that's a mistake. And I do agree. Right timing, because this is my topic for today. How are you going to give and receive feedback? You know, as a teacher, educators, students, business world, coaches, anything in the world that you're doing, feedback is always there. In fact, feedback is the breakfast of champion. If you really wanted to be champion, then you need to know how to receive and give feedback. Actually, giving feedback is one of the most challenging tasks a teacher can do to his or her student. Believe me or no, but feedback. In fact, giving feedback, you need to have this objective first. So at the end of this presentation, you will get to know more why feedback is important in your workplace, career, in life, and what are the important steps that we need to know in feedback. Now, as a speaker, and we are here speaking here, doing presentation, one thing that we dread to receive is the evaluation, right? Because people, by nature, only wanted to hear the beautiful things. Oh, you get a beautiful hair, beautiful dress, something like that. You're a good speaker. You have a very good presentation. Those are the things that we really wanted to hear. And if we hear some feedback, even it's constructive, we don't want to hear it, right? And that's true. Why are we reluctant to evaluations? Why do we don't like to receive feedback? Particularly students, okay? Well, if you're a student, learner, mentee, don't be offended. It's only an opinion, okay? And people have varying opinions. For one person, you're the great. For other person, you're not. That's true. Okay? Even the best players in the world, tennis, basketball player, musicians. Some people love them, some people don't. But again, it's because of opinion. Now, this is the natural response to evaluation. Is we feel judged. Okay? So we have to mature to a place where we respond to it with open arms and open heart and mind. That is from Henry Cloud. American writer. By the way, I've been presenting this feedback presentation all over the world, online, in person, because I'm very much passionate about feedback. I've seen a lot of people when I give feedback, they don't respond, they don't like me anymore. I've seen a lot of people who are very, very thankful because it makes them improve in their craft, particularly in speaking. And of course, you will learn nothing from life if you think you are right all the time. So what we need is open mind, open heart, open arms, receiving feedback. Feedback. If I'm going to ask each and one of you, you might give me different definition of feedback. But for the purpose of this presentation, feedback is any information about reactions to a product, person, performance of a task, which will be used as a basis for improvement. So remember, my fellow educators, speakers, presenters, when you give feedback, your primary purpose is to give improvement and not to criticize. When we give feedback, we have the opportunity to give feedback. We are not here as the best person, but rather we are here to give and share what we observe to make that person improve. Okay, so feedback, you can view it as a critic, judgment, opinion, satisfaction, evaluation. That is feedback. Okay. By the way, why I'm very passionate of feedback is because one of the most important element in public speaking is evaluation or feedback. And you will grow from the feedback of your audience. That's where you're going to improve your slides, your presentation. How do you speak? How you encourage? How you give information? Again, one of the 7 elements of public speaking is evaluation. If you are in the field of evaluation. Now, if you're in the field of education, of course, you still give feedback. You still receive feedback as a teacher. Now, since I belong to a big organization that deals with communication, leadership, and public speaking, I'm going to use the example of my speaker for this feedback. Okay. So when you speak online, in person, you're already judged in these 3 things. And what are those 3 things? You are judged how you look, how you sound, and how you organize your material. Now, if you're a teacher too, your students are already judging you or giving you a silent evaluation on these 3 aspects. How you look, how you sound, and how you organize your material. Actually, I presented 1 chapter of this topic alone in my book, Say It Loud, Say It Proud, that I published in 2020. And one of my passion, of course, I've mentioned that to you, is about here, is giving feedback. So I presented 1 whole chapter discussing about evaluation. And now I summarize this one. So this is the concept of this presentation. Okay. So how the speaker, let's go for this topic. How the speaker sounds, right? When you are presenting, they will tell you how confident you are. Even if you know your subject matter, they can still observe it, notice it through how you present yourself. Yeah. Sometimes, even before you open your mouth, your energy already introduces you. Okay. Before you start to talk, they can see it in your face, they can see it in your lips, eyes, your voice. Is it low or loud? Is it confident or nervous? That's how a speaker sounds. Now, how the speaker looks. Well, personality is very important. It adds more confidence if you dress well. We all know that. Yeah? And I don't need to tackle this one. But very important is how you dress. It depends on, of course, on the event. Now, organization this is one of the most important aspects. Is the organization. You need to organize your material, right, in your presentation. You don't want to, when you speak, you're almost in the climax or in the ending of your presentation, then you'll go back again into the introduction. keep repeating what you're saying. There's no organization on that aspect. But to tell you the secret, even if you're not a speaker, there are only three basic components of speech. Okay, introduction, subject matter, and your conclusion. That's it. When you're in the conclusion, don't go back to your middle. It will just confuse your audience. Okay, and of course, you're not spontaneous. So when you are organizing your materials, that makes you spontaneous. And the clarity in giving of information is very smooth. Okay? Of course, to get a good feedback, you need to practice all the time. How are you going to practice? Okay? Effective evaluation from your audience. That's why I keep encouraging each and everyone, have an open mind, open heart, open arms in receiving feedback. That's where you learn. Okay? Find a mentor or engage in a coach. That's one way of giving a good presentation, and eventually, of course, you will get good feedback. How to give feedback? There are three things that I really wanted to show it here. How to give feedback, of course, number one is attention. You cannot give a 100% feedback if you are not paying attention. Particularly in an online presentation or online conference, right? Right? We have so many distractions that the moment that we switch off our camera, our cell phone will ring, we're talking to somebody, right? And it's difficult to give feedback when your attention is divided. Okay, so focus is the number one aspect that you should do when you want to give feedback. In our organization, we give feedback to speeches. And when we give feedback, we need our full attention. And it's very difficult to fight distraction, right? Nowadays, technologies all over around us. So attention is very important. It's about listening actively, okay? Taking the time to analyze them, thinking of a positive solution to perform better. You need to attention. Sometimes I like the attention of the animals, the dog, the cats. You know, their mind is not full. They're mindful. As opposed to people, our mind is really full of many things. Okay, so that's attention. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go to attention. Now, what is feedback sandwich? This is one thing I really wanted to give information about sandwich. Imagine as a burger, right? The top portion, the middle, and the lower portion of the bread. Think of giving a feedback just like the sandwich. Okay, how are we going to do that? Feedback sandwich divided into three. The top portion is positive feedback. The middle, the sauce, the cheese, the tomato, the pickles, those are the constructive feedback. And then the lower portion, that is more positive feedback. Okay. So this is the diagram. When you start your feedback, something positive to warm up the discussion. And I learned that when I was a restaurant manager of one of the biggest fast food restaurant in the world. I will not tell the name so as not to promoting product. When we talk to our employees, we need to have something positive to warm up the discussion. And Vilma is right. You will not just tell it, hey, what you're doing is wrong. Right? So thank you for pointing out that, my friend Vilma, when you mentioned that, how to correct people. And when you go back to your workplace, to your children, this is something that we need to learn. Something positive to warm up the discussion. And then in the middle is the feedback you actually wanted to give. And something else positive to soften the real feedback. Okay, let's do an example. Okay, something positive to warm up the discussion. Hey, I'm listening to your speech yesterday. It was great. I like the slides presentation. I like how you point out the narrative and the story. It was great. then transition to the feedback you actually wanted to give. However, I noticed that you're not looking at the audience very well. You don't have an eye contact. For me, you did not connect to me because you are focused on what you're reading and on your slide, right? But overall, you did a great job on pointing out those examples. Okay? So you see, you started with something positive to warm up the discussion, and then you give pointers to improve, and then overall you give at the end another something positive. So those are what we call sandwich method. Okay? Another thing, aside from your attention, and of course the sandwich method, is the care. And I created this care, which means compliment, address, you resolve, encourage. So you give your compliment, you address the situation, how to resolve it, give suggestion, and encourage the person to continue what he or she is doing. Now, in this word, we need to be coached, not a critic. You need to be a coach, not a critic. Okay. Next one. Of course, we need to define what is constructive feedback versus negative feedback. I'd rather use the word constructive feedback because for me, when I give evaluation, this is for the good of the speaker, my student, or my mentee, for that matter, or for the good of my staff, my employee. Okay, so constructive feedback because we need to help them improve. Now, when you give feedback, think of this. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Okay, so the tone of voice is very important when you give feedback. Okay, how to receive feedback? I'll make it quick. Set yourself up for success. Of course, you need to plan and prepare. You need to practice your speech. Let's say you're invited by Inga or by Shalala to speak. You need to practice your presentation, right? And presenting your talk to your audience just like what we're doing right now. And then when we present, we share because we care, as what Bilma said. Learn from the feedback. How are you going to learn from the feedback? Of course, be coachable, be teachable. This is the most important. You need to be coachable. And you listen to the feedback, reflect, and decide what to do. If you have a question, hey, Inga, I have a question regarding your feedback. Okay, then you can talk, you can connect, apply what you learn. Now, I really wanted to share this one. If you really want to win, you have to be willing to be judged by others. When you put yourself out there doing presentation, expect a feedback, constructive feedback. Of course, there will be always positive feedback. Okay? And again, as I mentioned, we only want to hear the positive, and sometimes we get hurt when we receive constructive feedback, which should be a no-no. Okay, next one, almost there. There we go. Q-tip. When I say Q-tip, I'm not referring to this. You know the Q-tip cleaning your ears? The cotton swab? When I say Q-tip, what I mean by this is quit taking it personally. Don't take it personally, okay? Learn from it. Feedback is always part of our daily life. Whatever we do in our life, there will be always feedback. Constructive, negative feedback, of course. If you are willing to receive positive feedback, do the same thing with negative feedback and constructive. Don't take it personally. That's my presentation for today about feedback, because we are all educators here, and at one point of our life, we give feedback and we also receive feedback. Thank you very much, and over to you, Shalala, Mammadli. Thank you. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us all of your valuable thoughts. I agree with you that feedback shouldn't demotivate our students. It should serve improvement instead. So thank you again for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much, my dear one, Eric. You are really amazing. Thank you so much for really very important presentation, your time. I'm going to say something, dear Shalala. We have amazing
please.
guests from Azerbaijan. Yes, next Brazil, and now from Canada. We learn from each other every day. Thank you so much to all. It's really very amazing day. Stay with us. We also have amazing guests waiting to share their knowledge with you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you again for joining us. And now I'd like to invite our esteemed guest from India, dear Anju Sabarwal. Please, the floor is yours.
So welcome.
Hi, good evening, bonjour, bon après-midi, et bonsoir. I love French, so I thought I'll start with that. Just taking on from what Wilma shared and Vaughn shared, and of course, our guest of honor today, what she shared. I just want to share what I usually do with my students when I'm trying to teach them English, because I think over the years, I feel my own English has come down a little because of my learners. I've worked mostly with ESL learners from Korea, Thailand, Seychelles, Maldives, but I tend to use certain techniques. So just a recap of what I have used with my students in this journey of learning. I will just try and share my PPT. Yeah, is this visible to everybody?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, so again, welcome to this wonderful evening. And really, I feel that what Wilma said about sharing is caring, I think we've touched upon things that we all are close to our hearts, but sometimes, you know, I don't know, the nitty-gritties of everyday life, certain things get swept under the carpet due to external pressures. So I'm just going to talk about language enhancement, what and how. This is what I like to call whatever I try to share with my students. So it's just a gist of the sharing and learning that my students have been exposed to over the years. And I'll share a few examples from my journey of life. The flow of this entire thing is, what is a language? What do we mean by language enhancement? Need it? And maybe simple strategies that we all know about, but like it is, you know, in the part of everyday life, we tend to forget the simpler things in life. And because I work with students day in, day out, I feel they are our best teachers or educators, so to say. So what is a language? Defined by the Oxford Dictionary, it is a method of human communication, you know, used in a structured and conventional way. It could be through speech, writing, gesture, and of course, the latest being emojis. Like I've always worked, when I've worked in classes, I've always noticed, you know, students have their own parallel vocabulary working with your words, because you can, if you are perceptive enough, you will see that exchange of, things by the eye, or a little giggle at a use of a word that the teacher uses. Of course, it is a system of communication used by a particular country or community as we know it, and covers the usual skills of reading, writing, listening, and speaking. It's a medium to ease communication. Actually, I feel not just words, even pictures convey a lot of things. So sometimes, you know, just sending a picture across to friends says everything that you feel like. And being humans, sometimes it's the unspoken or non-verbal communication, which says more than what the verbal communication says. And of course, it's a vehicle of collaboration, which is very evident from our session today. There are so many of us from around the world with different perspectives to what a language is, and I'm sure we're learning. Of course, it's not just limited to written expression or spoken. And I mean, because I'm talking about my students, so I will stick to the traditional mediums of, reading, listening, the 4 skills, as we say, of learning a language. Actually, language enhancement, it allows the students to, develop their critical thinking skills, because those are the things that they need today. I think COVID opened up the arena of education and really shook us up, because I think education was very stagnant and very, easy. And we were in our own little, you can say, cubby holes, wherever we were. But COVID shook the world and we all woke up, and I feel very proud to belong to a fraternity which I think transformed itself from just being an educator to being a tech geek. Okay, I was leading a set of teachers who were, in India we have, because it's a very huge country, we have different constraints. So the particular school that I was working with, we had a constraint of being technology driven. So I know that overnight, the teachers, just flipped. They understood that this was going to be the way they are going to connect with students. Because what we explained to them was, it really didn't matter what they taught, but it maintained that connect of the student and the school. I think COVID really transformed the educational platform. And thanks to IIU, we are on this platform where we are sharing knowledge and learning from each other. Of course, it also, learning English, why does it become important, is because it's become a working language. Although I am aware that, Europe is very, very rigid. I may be wrong, right? But I still remember back in 1992, I think that was my first stint of using French as in a professional platform, where I had helped Lacoste set up their first manufacturing unit in India. So I was the interpreter for the person who came down. And I know that Europe is close to English because they feel that we are equally at par with the English language. I remember the engineer then, he would not, help me with English or translation of a French word if I got stuck, because it was very technical. So he would give me synonyms, which would help me. So, I think it's just the same thing that happens with English, although, of course, with time, English has become more open-minded, because I know there are a lot of words in English which are from different languages. For example, Renaissance, déjà vu, being French words. Hindi words which are used, Pandit, and, things like that. So English, I feel, has become very open-minded, yet it has its own constraints. It actually, English opens up the world. And that's what we're trying to tell our students, that, if we look at a cross-section of employability and the remuneration that comes along with the employability, English-speaking candidates have a better advantage over the local language speakers. And that encourages, students to, because at the end of the day, they want to be employable, they want to do well for the family. And especially currently, me and Irmina, we are working in a rural setup where, kids have a very closed outlook to what exists. So we are hoping that like through BICAP, we had Shalala and Inga to visit that school. So we're hoping in the future to have, an inflow of different individuals who feel that they would like to offer something to just open up the minds. Because I feel education opens the mind of an individual to opportunities. So the exposures that we give to them matter more than, what we teach them. Because at the end of the day, it's the confidence, it's how they present themselves and how they carry themselves that helps them in the long run. I mean, I still remember that nobody looked at my graduation results to employ me. They just saw how confident as a student I was and they took it. Of course, English is an official language of close to 53 countries, most spoken in the world today because it's become a working language, and closed countries like the Far East countries like China, South Korea are opening up. So in itself, it's, enhancing that, okay, English is being accepted worldwide. And of course, if you are a traveler like I am, it becomes easier. Of course, yes, Europe has its constraints, but, and I haven't visited Europe, although in my imagination, yes, I have. So I feel English becomes a language which allows you to reach a greater spectrum of people and adds value. Why does English become difficult? Over the years, I felt because English has its own challenges. Simple things like the pronunciation. And students always ask me, ma'am, BUT sounds but PUT sounds put. Now why? It's the same letters, but there's a difference. So I think it becomes a little challenging for new learners. Of course, it has a few rules and a lot of exceptions to the case. But that's the fun of learning any language. Of course, I'm just going to share quickly a few strategies that we are all aware of, but sometimes we forget because we are in the rumble of the day. Of course, keep chatting in English. I tell my students, although they're very shy and, it becomes very difficult for children who are used to not just the, official language Hindi, but where the school is located, they have their own set of a local language, which is a mix of Hindi and the Avdi language. So sometimes even for me, it becomes difficult to comprehend what they say. So I keep telling them that, you just try whatever you feel. If you get stuck, you ask me, but I think it's just the hindrance. So encouraging students to keep chatting. I know there was a time when, texting was in, when we would just text our friends. So I remember in my classes, there would be a lesson where I would write TTYL, GR8, and all the things. And kids would go, wow, this teacher's great. And then I would strike it out with a red colored pen and say, sorry, kids, this is not part of English, especially when it becomes written English. And I've had kids, call me from university and say, miss, I won the best prize, although I'm not taught them at the year 11 or 12. But I still remember that red cross across all those words. So chatting in English helps. Of course, talking to yourself, because I think we talk to ourselves more than anyone else in our lives, although we don't accept it, but we're talking to ourselves in our minds. So if we try and use English, I feel it just helps us improve. Because I feel you need to start thinking in your in the target language that you want to address people in to be able to improve in it. And for me, although I'm Indian, I have a problem that when my kids were younger, when I used to scold them, I would automatically start scolding in English, and my husband would tell me, okay, listen carefully, she's scolding you now, and that would end the entire situation. So I do have a challenge in this place where I'm working, because the language learning is restricted. So I'm trying to use Hindi, which is the official language, but I have not used it for many, many years to teach certain things there. But I think it's talking in the target language which helps us improve the target language. Of course, I encourage my students to watch movies, because I think that is how I learned. I still remember the first time I traveled abroad. I was in grade 5. And I had a tough time telling my teacher what a sapota was. Okay. I loved that fruit at that age. And she kept telling me it's a potato. And I told her, no, it's not a potato, it's brown. And I could not carry the fruit because I had to change 5 flights. So movies, although teachers say that it's not the right thing, I do use it. I even use Hindi movies to make them understand that it is how much you read and what you read that affects your thinking and your knowledge. So there's a very particular Hindi movie that the kids enjoy a lot. And I've used it to explain to them that, reading enhances your knowledge and your thought process. And reading is an essential skill. Of course, watching news in English is the easiest one if you want to learn English. And this works well with my students. They really like it because they can read the words and they can hear them at the same time. This is, of course, the latest transition to learning a language, audiobooks and podcasts. Of course, we have Amazon with Audible. And I do tell my students to, just subscribe, because it's not too much to be able to listen to excerpts on an audio thing if they're not readers, because many of us are not. Yes, this is something continuing from Wilma's Junglish. There's one that I tell my students always is the Duolingo app. Because I've used it myself personally to learn German and Spanish, although I don't know so many words as of now. But I just learned it to connect with my son who was traveling, and just to get to know more about it. So of course, language apps help kids around the world. This is something that I am very particular about, maintaining a word bank. And I also use a technique of journaling because post-COVID, I feel that because we were all cooped up in our houses, not just adults, but kids had issues getting along with their own teammates. So I do try and encourage my students to write whatever thoughts they have during the day, and they question why. And I tell them it empties the mind to learn new things. And of course, it's worked successfully with them. They do write, of course, in broken English at times, but then it does, resolve the conflicts that they do carry in their minds. And they've been told that nobody will know what they've written, except if they write depressing stuff, the same thing. So then I will inform the parents. So the kids, I've built up that trust. And trust me, there are so many stories that kids share in those journals. And I've always maintained the secrecy. I've never told anybody, not even my husband knows what I read, because I feel that builds up to the confidence building. Of course, finding a good dictionary, electronic ones are in, and it helps. I've told them, if you don't want me to be, get upset with you because you ask a simple word, empower yourself, get a dictionary. That's the best way to, escape anybody's mockery, because kids are more, conscious of what others think of them rather than us at our growing years. So they don't want to seem stupid, as they call themselves, if you don't know some words. So I've told them, if you want to be the smart kid, get a dictionary, and usually they end up getting one. Of course, I remember, I think 2014 was the time when these electronic bookmark dictionaries came up. So all my Korean students went and bought one from Korea when they came back to India because they were studying in India. So they had those bookmark dictionaries. Of course, identifying the motivation to learn English. So if we keep that in mind, and it has helped a lot of students. I have an example of a student which everyone had written off, actually. So when I got him in year 9 for the IGs, the last teacher said, "Oh, he's good for nothing." And I was, shocked. I said, if he's good for nothing, what he has done, spent 4 years in school. Anyway, I worked with him, and he was a weekly boarder. His mom would call me, "So what do I get the tuition teacher to do?" So I said, "You just tell the tuition teacher to teach him subject verb agreement. That's all. The rest I will do." And eventually he was able to, he started at U and he was able to get an E in IGCSE. So it was, I think, my best result because I always believe in helping the ones who are at the lower spectrum. The higher spectrum always manages to do and they keep improving, but the lowest spectrum gets lost in the lot of students that we have. Of course, some techniques that I do tell them to learn because I love cooking is follow a recipe. When I do hang up my educator boots, this is one thing that I want to take up in life, set up a cafe somewhere and, listen to stories. I do tell them to pick up a recipe, understand the words that are used so that they just add on. Of course, this is something which they hate to do. But I just tell them, and I use examples again from movies and tell them, the only reason that we can talk about what we talk about is because we've read it somewhere. So that convinces them at times, but quite tough to get them to pick up an English book. But yeah, somehow do manage it with them. Yes, this is the best part. So I don't constrain it just to reading. I try and encourage them to, because a lot of them are into gaming. And I learned from them that, gaming could earn them money. I was like, once a kid told me, "Miss, I just earned this much." I said, "You're just lying. How can you earn money playing video games?" So he explained to me and it was a new learning. I do try to encourage them to find something which they like and to learn the language through that. Of course, gaming and crosswords, chatting. Of course, we have to also tell them that you can't keep chatting because you're spending time on social media. And this is something that I do practice myself and get my kids also to journal. I do write poetry, both in English and Hindi. Apart from that, I do tell kids that you should as well. Whatever you think, you don't have to share it with the world, but that helps. So there it is. This is my gambit of things that I have worked with. And I know it is too simplistic, but I feel, kids have lots of stories. It's just that they're not heard. And especially the older ones. So as an educator, I feel we should connect, and language is about being there for someone when they need you. It's not just being in class and teaching them the rules of grammar or, sentence structure. Yes, that is important. But I feel in the canvas of life, language is being there for each other, knowing that I can go to this person and share, and the person will be there. So that's what I like to do. Thank you so much, Shalala. for inviting me. Thank you, Inga. And thank you to all of you. I've shared very simplistic things, but I felt to share the story of my students' lives. And I think that's the best thing you can do. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I'll
dear Anju.
stop.
Thank you for
I will
joining
just-
us and sharing with us not only simple, but also practical strategies, you know. They always work. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for patiently hearing what you've all
Yes,
done.
yes, thank you.
But simplistic.
Thank you for staying with us.
Yes. I will.
Okay.
My great respect to you, dear Anju. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me there. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And now, dear Inga, I'd like to invite our next guest from Indonesia, Diana, because I see she has some connection issues. Yes.
Yes.
So you are welcome, dear.
Thank you so much. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, honorable guest speakers, and lovely audience across the globe. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to Ms. Shalala for inviting me, and also my dear friend, Dr. Inga. My name is Hardiana Vika from Indonesia. I'm CEO and founder of this education center. Well, like Ms. Shalala already mentioned, I got internet connection issue, and yeah, I've been on and off twice. So in today's session, I'm not going to share my presentation because yeah, I think it might be a little bit tricky at this time because it's heavy raining outside. But I think we have listened from our speakers a truly great experience and also journey that they have shared with us. And we have listened about the error analysis, evaluation, and feedback. And actually, my topic for today is related to this kind of things too, because I'd like to share the insights on transforming the classroom into a coaching environment by giving constructive feedback to our students. Mr. Von Erich and also the other speakers already shared more about how we can give feedbacks to all people around us, to students as well. And I think we can coach the students, whatever the subject that you are having, even though you are not teaching the English, we can simply be a guide. Because as we know that coach guides athletes toward improvement. So in this matter, I think teachers can also inspire growth and learning. And I'd like to share some effective feedback, how we can actually give effective feedback. Mr. Von Erich already shared one of the feedback that I'm going to mention in this session too. But firstly, let us focus on the specific. So instead of vague comments, or we need to understand that we have to highlight the pinpoint areas of strengths and also needing improvement. For example, we can give clarity, which is allowing students to understand what they did and how they can enhance their skills. So when we talk about focus on the specific things as an educators, whatever that subjects that you are teaching, instead of saying good job on your essay, good job on your exam, we can provide specific feedback like your use of vivid imagery in the second paragraph painted a clear picture, enhancing the overall impact of your writing. So we need to consider or incorporating more transition between ideas to improve the flow. So when we give this kind of longer feedback, our students is going to notice that, okay, my teacher is truly paying attention to me, really see the detail. Because when we want to bring improve and growth, we have to make those kind of detail to be present to our students. And secondly, I think we as educator needs to foster a growth mindset. So we can encourage students to view challenges as opportunities for growth. And how can we do that? We can emphasize the effort, perseverance, and learning from mistakes is really important. So when we try to instill this kind of things in the classroom, we can create an environment where feedback becomes a tool for improvement rather than a judgment. Because in the first place, if we don't encourage this kind of growth mindset, maybe our students going to bully each other. Okay, your grade is worse than me, or I am better than you, and so on. Because nowadays our Gen Z or our millennials are truly sensitive. Like Mr. Von Eric already mentioned that we don't have to take anything personally. So when it comes to feedback, some people tend to be defensive. They see something as attack rather than advice or maybe suggestion. So we need to encourage our student to have this kind of growth of mindset. We can start saying to them like, I appreciate the effort you put into solving those math problems, for example, if you're a math teacher, because we also need to remind them that making mistake is a natural part of learning. So let's look at the errors together and figure out how to approach similar problems in the future. In the first place, it might like, oh my God, Jana, it might be easy for you to say it, but in fact, in the classroom, it might be different. So when you think that it's easier for me, but it's different for you, then you also need to work on your mindset first. Okay, because we have to make a clear progress with a clear journey. So before you teach your students, you also have to put that kind of a mindset in yourself too. So we can bring that, because we might can fake our words, but we cannot fake our energy, our vibration. People or our students can notice it whether we believe in them or not. Okay, and the third point is we have to establish a dialogue. Okay, when we talk about feedback, feedback is not one-way street. So we need to engage our students in conversation about their work. We have to ask open-ended questions and listen actively. Because when we do this exchange, we encourage a sense of ownership over their learning journey. So it's not about doctrine, you become someone who's tend to be so aggressive or everything as a teacher. You can really bring the awareness of the students like, okay, I have this sense of ownership in my text, in my exam, in my homework, for example. So you can establish a dialogue and engage in a conversation by asking like, I noticed you took a unique approach in your science project, for example, and you can ask like, can you share your thought process behind it? And what challenges did you face and how did you overcome them? So when we ask this kind of the question, we try to involve our students to be person with critical thinking skills, which is really good, because nowadays we live in the 21st century. We have to put this kind of the skill to our students so they can come up with many challenging things that they might find in the future later. And then I think, yeah, when we talk about feedback, it's truly important to notice about timely of the feedback. Because when we talk about the feedback, the sooner students receive the feedback, the more relevant it is to their understanding of the material. Let's say they maybe have the presentation homework since last week and you are busy, you might want to, okay, I'm going to tell or I'm going to give the feedback next week or in the next session. Please don't do that, because we need to give that in a quick response. Because when we give a quick feedback, it allows for correction and adjustment. So when we allow this kind of the things, it means like we are allowing them to promote a continuous learning cycle. Sometimes even us as adult, we might have a ABCD plan. We do that AB, and then we got distracted by another thing, and we stop. We cannot continue that C, and then we end up not jumping to the D directly, but maybe we have to review the AB again before we start the D. Maybe we have to recall the memories more. Maybe we have to get some more clarification. So the quick feedback is always necessary. So instead of waiting until at the end of the week, for example, to return the assignment to your student, you can offer immediate feedback. For instance, if you have a writing class during any kind of writing activity, you can circulate the classroom, providing on-the-spot comments to guide students while the concepts are fresh in their mind. So they know how to grab those ideas. They know how to respond your feedback correctly because it's just fresh. Even though, okay, Diana, maybe they are still young, they can remember everything quickly. No, actually our brain doesn't work in that way. No matter like how old you are, if it's fresh, you still get that excitement. So it's going to be great for them too. And I think, moreover, we need to maintain a balance, positive and constructive feedback. So when we talk about balance, we have to recognize achievement and strength and reinforcing positive behavior. And simultaneously, we need to address areas for improvement. Maybe some students are really great at everything. Maybe the other students need some kind of the improvement. However, we have to provide guidance on how to enhance performance and also balance positive and constructive feedback. So we can start by acknowledging the strength with feedback by saying like, your presentation demonstrated excellent research and organization, for example. And we can add something like, to enhance your delivery, you need to consider varying your vocal tone, maintaining eye contact to engage your audience more effectively. So it's not only about all the materials. When we give the constructive feedback, is like overall scan. Like we are scanning our students like from head to toe. It's not only about their project, but we also maintain or pay attention to their gestures and how they stand, how their confidence level to, because it's going to provide them the feeling like, okay, my teacher is truly care about me. Because as I grow older, I notice like when I talk to the students, they often say, oh, my teachers in the kindergarten, my teachers in the elementary school, my teachers in the high school didn't care, blah, blah, blah. Actually, the teacher is not always show how they care to the students, but maybe there is a limitation of time, or maybe the teachers doesn't know how to show those things. So as educators, we need to balance this kind of things. And the last approach that I want to highlight for providing feedback is a sandwich approach. Like Mr. Von Eric already mentioned about the sandwich approach. We can begin with positive feedback, followed by constructive comment, and end with encouragement, right? Because when we provide this sandwich, the structures truly help maintain a sportive atmosphere while addressing areas needing development. So it's not only giving a high praise to the students, but we still maintain the needing of development that actually our students need. We can start with the positive feedback like, your dedication to completing this project ahead for schedule is commendable. And then we can provide constructive feedback like, in this future project, let us focus on refining the conclusion to ensure they align closely with your mind findings, and etc. etc. And then lastly, we have to reinforce for positivity too. Like we can say to them like, I believe with your work ethic, you can easily make this adjustment. So this kind of things is such a layer that can inspire your students. They know like, I'm going to get this kind of positive feedback. I'm going to get the valuable feedback too. And then they know that our students and our teachers too is going to maintain a healthy, positive environment. So this is really great. And the last approach, I think, is we need to consider about a personalized feedback, because we have to recognize that every student is unique. So we need to tailor your feedback to the individual learning styles and needs. But maybe sometimes the teachers say like, we don't have enough time. Maybe I got like 20, 30 students in the classroom. How can I do that? Don't worry. We live in the 21st century. There is AI that can help you to provide this kind of personalized feedbacks. The thing is, whether you want to work smarter or not. It's not about work harder, but it's about work smarter. If other people or other teachers can use or can integrate the AI with the classroom, why you cannot do that? It's just about the willingness, whether you want to deep dive into it or not. But for me, in my personal opinion, as long as it can provide you something good, why not? You try to that. And when we personalize the feedback, it means like we foster a sense of connection, because like I have said, every student is unique. They really need a specific approach in order to achieve their goals. So enhancing this impact of your guidance can truly help them. Okay, maybe we can recognize individually with the kind of feedback by saying, I notice you prefer visual aids when learning, and I'll incorporate more diagrams and chart into your classroom. Maybe this sounds like too personal. Like if we have 20 students in the classroom and only 10 or only 5 students are more visuals and we bring the diagrams, will it be fair for those auditory students? Don't worry. Maybe this week we bring more visual and then the next session we bring more auditory. So that's why you need to hold the report of the students in overall. So you know how and when you have to switch the teaching styles to. And then when you try to understand their teaching style, their learning style, you can actually adjust your teaching style, which is truly beneficial for them. Okay, so I think to conclude my speech on today's session, I'd like to remind that by incorporating coaching principle in our teaching with providing constructive feedback, I think we can empower our students with the future challenges, because we know that no one is perfect. We have to learn from our mistakes, from the setbacks, and of course, continually strive for improvement, because feedback is truly a foundation of every individual. We cannot even go to the other place without asking or without taking any kind of feedback from the previous place, because we need that kind of feedback in order to grow. And when we truly become an educator who inspire this good feedback, this constructive feedback, we can also build a healthy generation. Why healthy generation? Because if you try to put this constructive feedback, how to be a good role model who truly inspire the students with the good feedback, then they know as they grow older, maybe in the workplace, they don't take things personally. Many our young generation or millennials resign just because, oh my God, my boss said this to me, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get the deadline, I didn't blah blah blah, and then my boss said personal things. It's actually depends on how you see the things. But when our students learn since the beginning, it's actually prepare themselves for the future. We know that we live in a constant change and we cannot predict everything much right now, because everything seems like unpredictable right now. So I think we can help them not only to pass the test, not only get good grade, but being a person who knows how to strive for improvement for overall their goodness, for personal and for professional in the future. I think that's it from my side, because I have listened to great speakers about many things in today's session, and I'm so grateful and thankful because I had a chance to learn from all of you too. So once again, thank you so much for your attention, for your time, for inviting me, and I'm giving back to Ms. Shalala. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Herdiana, for sharing with us your valuable thoughts on giving constructive feedback.
My
Was very-
brilliant friend, I'm really proud of you. Keep up shining, keep up good work. Well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now I think it's time to move to Egypt and to call our dear friend, Dr. Heba
Yes.
Othman. The floor is yours, dear. Please.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Okay. And is my presentation clear for everyone?
Yes, my dear.
Okay, thank you so much. So, hello, everyone. Welcome from Cairo, Egypt. Hello, my dear, inspiring and let's say professional educators. Hello, respectful audience from all over the globe. This is Dr. Heba Othman here from Egypt. Before kicking off and starting my presentation, I just want to thank Shalala, my dear friend, for her kind invitation to be among such wonderful and inspiring educators. I'd like to thank all the previous educators. Actually, you really inspired all of us. So thank you so much. So my presentation today, the topic of my presentation today is energize your classroom with AI tools. Just let me give you a brief introduction about me. I'm Heba Othman, Dr. Heba Othman here. I have my master's degree and PhD in applied linguistics. I'm a university professor. I'm also a certified teacher trainer. I've been working for 25 years in teaching applied linguistics, English, and teacher training. I'm the CEO of Innoviate, which is an academy for training teachers. I'm also responsible of Nile TESOL SIG, which is called Learning Technologies. So my passion, as you see, is how to help teachers integrate technology in teaching. And usually I tell my teachers that you have to integrate technology wisely and appropriately in your classes. So you should have a goal in mind while doing this. So today's agenda, quickly, it's about like telling you that AI is a game changer. And of course, all of you know about this. AI is your teaching partner. Some AI-powered activities to foster creativity and critical thinking with your students, and some hands-on activities to foster, again, creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and motivate your students in classroom. First things first, you have to know that AI will not replace you. Don't worry, teachers. Usually I tell my teachers, because all teachers now have, you know, this fear that AI will replace us. No, AI will not replace teachers, but consider AI your teaching partner. This is very important. This is the beginning. So first of all, I'm gonna give you here some nuts and bolts, some practical ideas you can use with your students, and you as a teacher can use it in class. So today, I'm gonna give you like some practical ideas. Hopefully you can use it with your students. So let's start our journey. The first activity I have here for you is called Lord of the Hats. Okay, and this activity that you can do with your students, as you see here, this student is putting on different kinds of hats, different colors. And of course, you know the 6 thinking hats activity, and you know this strategy that each hat has a specific function, right? So for example, the white with the white that you should tell us facts, green creativity, yellow, and so on. So each hat has a function. Here, I used AI in generating these 2 photos, and the name of the activity is Elevate and Relate and Innovate, which means I asked the students to find one sentence to relate these 2 photos together, these 2 images together, and using one of the hats. So you will be dividing your class into groups. Each group will take a hat, a color, and the function or the task of each group is to write a sentence from the perspective of this hat. So for example, if I ask you to tell me a sentence from the red hat, which is emotions, any ideas? How can you relate and innovate? Because think about this, that we have to foster this like innovative or critical thinking ideas in our students. Any ideas? Okay, any hat, black, green, any hats? No one? Anyways, this is an idea.
I like green. Let it be green.
Green. Okay, so give me one sentence to relate these two photos together. Any sentence. Anything that comes to mind, Shalala. Anything.
Oh my God, they are sitting.
So this is what we are doing with our students. We are trying to help them to be creative, to be innovative. I have something here in the chat box. Yes, creative, yes. So we were trying to help them to be creative. Maybe you are not that creative. Maybe they are more creative than us. So this is one idea we can do with the students. Another idea here is the same idea. Try to relate these 2 photos and try to be innovative. What is the relation? Using one of the 6 thinking hats. So here, the aim, the objective of this activity is to foster their critical thinking skills. This is the idea. You are fostering their critical thinking skills, right? And of course, collaboration, because they are working together. Okay, this is another activity you can do with your students. When you try to use ChatGPT or try to use Bing or Bard or whatever, to find some codes, and you try to take some words out from these codes, and you ask your students to fill in this gap, looking at the photo. So what do you think? Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about, so try to relate the photo and complete the code. About living, well, look at the photo. Maybe you can
About
relate.
finding the way
About,
out, maybe.
Yes, you're about to. What else? Anyone? Dear creative educators, can you try it? So it's about creating yourself, you see. So this has to do with the photo, and this is for George Bernard Shaw. So again, this is one idea. So here, what did I use from the AI? Can you do it, dear teachers? Yes. So you can use any AI image generator, and you can use any chatbot like ChatGPT, like Poe, like Bard, like Bing, like Gemini, the new monster, as they call it, and you can do this activity. Okay. So AI tools can help teachers foster creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration. Yes, we can do this. Another activity you can do with your students is to show them 4 pictures again. And can you guess the word that relates the 4 pictures together? This activity is called 4 pics in 1. Can you guess? It starts with C. Anyone? It starts with C.
Creativity.
It is creativity, exactly. So if you look at photos, it has to do with, yes, with creativity, exactly. So what else? What else can we help our students with? What else can we do to help our students? Here, you tell your students, if you are teaching grammar, and you know how students really hate grammar, but if you try to motivate them with something that they really like, for example, tell them that your favorite celebrities can sometimes make grammar mistakes. What do you think? Well, they will look, they will stare at what you're doing. They will, yes, they will be motivated and engaged. Yes. So here, the students, this is one of the students, he's trying to find the mistake with his favorite celebrity. So this is the idea. And of course, everyone knows that everyone loves Cristiano.
The reason I am here today is because I want to express my gratitude to you.
This sentence has a grammatical mistake, and all the students have to do now is to find the grammatical mistake, right? So again, this is motivating because they like and again, you have to know, first of all, you have to get to know them. As one of my colleagues said, you have to make a kind of personal connection with your students to know their celebrities. So yes, in this case, you can do this activity.
The reason I am here today,
and they will like it, you see. So they try to figure out the mistake, and they will like the idea, and they're gonna
enjoy getting my narration.
Something else. Okay, what else can you do with your students? And of course, I used here the ID, VidIO or ALI, whatever here AI tool that will help you to change text into video, as you see. What else can students do? Now it's me as a teacher who did it. Now I taught my students to do something. So here I asked my students to imagine that he is or she is Thomas Jefferson writing Declaration of Independence, and tell us what is the importance. Why did you write Declaration of Independence? So that was,
ladies and gentlemen, I felt the weight of the colony's struggles.
So now this is the students who are doing it, you see. So students now are doing the task, are doing the job because they like the idea. Well, this project here, it was a kind of media analysis of some of the movies. Students are asked to analyze the cinematic language, cinematography, director's vision, and so on. So here, I asked the students to use the characters, the actors themselves in the movie, and to talk about or to analyze the movie. So they like the idea.
The movie's cinematography was a genuine work of art, which portrayed the feelings and essence of the narrative.
You see, again, this improves students' speaking skills and their analytical and critical thinking skills because they're analyzing, and again, they're doing something that they like, you see. So again, this is one idea students can do. Again, the same thing here is repeated with the Forrest Gump movie.
The film Forrest Gump effectively engages audiences by using...
This is something else. Another activity here is called Switch Show. In this activity, you will ask your students to imagine that they have different superpowers. And I'm using here, as you see, I'm using again some photos or some generated AI generated photos. And then after each one of them is imagining what's his superpower that you can do, and they are working in groups. Okay, ask them to exchange your superpower with your partner, and let's talk. You see, so speaking skills here, this will enhance this. This AI tool is called Pictory. It's an amazing and mind-blowing AI tool. Why? Because first of all, you will give it a script and it will change it into a video. Or you can give it an AI, you can give it a URL article, and again, it can change it into a video. So here, this is what I did. I give it I give it a text, right? And I ask it Pictory to change it into a video.
Thomas Jefferson believed.
Well, why can you do this as a teacher? Because sometimes, we have a lot of YouTube videos, but they are not really focused. Which means that these videos may contain some information and may contain like some idea that you don't like to show to your students, or you find it very lengthy. So try to make your own video. Just give the text to Pictory and it will give you the video. This is what I did.
A government is justified. The main subject of the Declaration
and then what else?
Thomas Jefferson.
Then what else? You can ask ChatGPT, give ChatGPT the text and ask it to give you like MCQs about the video. So in this case, you can make it as a lead-in to your session and then ask students some questions about the video. You see here? Or you can use Twee, which is an amazing tool for English teachers. Twee, again, it's very powerful AI tool. You can give it, again the video, and it can give you some questions about the video. It can give you like some warm-up ideas. You see? So here I give it a URL for a video, and it gives me a transcript of the video, and then it has here some questions. Like you can, for example, have fill in the gap activity, 3 titles, and they choose which title they like, lead-in activities, dialogue, create an exercise with matching halves, extract collocations. All these ideas or all these activities and exercises, you can do them so easily. Here is another example that I used again, something
village, a wise man.
The same like Pictory or Vid. This is the Vid IO I used, and then I asked the students. Here I gave this AI tool. I gave it some words, and I like a text, and I highlighted some words in the text. These words are synonyms, okay, of some of the words given to the students. So the question here, the video contains synonyms of the words, okay? Watch the video, write 2 sentences from the video incorporating synonyms from the above words. So here they have to know the synonyms of the words. So here they are practicing vocabulary, right? So listening, watching, practicing vocabulary. This is how can you help your students. This activity again is called Figures with Speech Challenge, where again I used AI generated photos or images. And then I asked students to match the photo or the image with the figure of speech and a sentence. You see, so they have a photo, as you see in the on the wall here, and they have to match it with what? With the sentence itself and with the type of literary device, which figure of speech is being used. So for example here, personification, and they match it with "Hello America, I'm your favorite son. Wow, the broccoli is enjoying his time." So they match it. You see the 3 things together. They enjoyed the idea, and I asked them to do the same. You see, this is a video done by one of the students again using Pictory.
To be a melon, the refrigerated watermelon. Once upon a time.
So just the student gave it a text, and then it changed it into a video, and they compared it with each other.
Cool.
You see, so this or a story. They can do a lot. Even students, by the way, they enjoy this idea. Then we have gallery walk. Of course, gallery walk, that we have like different walls, and each wall has an activity for the students. In this case, I integrated the 6 thinking hats with Pictory and with gallery walk. Like each wall has a task for the students to do based on the hat, and they're going to use Pictory here because, as I said, it has different tasks. So this again will help you with differentiation in class. See, so these are activities or these are ideas. What about songs? Students really like songs, and you as a teacher may try to find a song that will help you teach maybe a grammar, maybe vocabulary, maybe a kind of listening activity or whatever. This website, this AI tool, it's called Sano, and you give this AI tool like either you give it your own lyrics or you give it some words, okay, and you ask this AI tool to write the lyrics for you. Simply, it will give you the lyrics, and students are going to listen to a song that has some words that you want them to know, to understand. So it can be a kind of listening activity, can be a pre-listening, maybe if you're pre-teaching vocabulary for them or grammar. So here, for example, it gives you, it was a song about Declaration of Independence and about freedom and so on. So I just give it some words and I ask it, this AI tool, to give me the song. And then I let this, by the way, it will give you two versions, choose whatever you want. And then I ask students to find like some words related to, or give me, for example, main idea of the song. So again, this is an activity that you can do as I said, as maybe like teaching vocabulary, maybe listening activity, whatever you want to do. Okay, character AI, it's very famous and it's really well known for its powerful ability to engage the students, guys. Because here students can talk with their famous characters. So you can choose any famous character and students start to talk with this famous character. Another idea, it has debate. So you can, one of the icons here is to debate with, so you give it a debate or a topic for debate, and you start debating with this AI tool. You can create a kind of a room. And in this room, you can add whatever characters you want, whatever. So here I added Albert Einstein, for example, Elon Musk, and I started talking about what? About can AI replace human or whatever. So here we'll start a kind of discussion. So you can hear their voices, but of course these are not real voices. But again, it's a good way to improve the listening, the listening skill again, and the speaking, because the students are going to talk to this imaginary AI character. Magic School AI, it has a lot of, I just recommend it for all the teachers. Actually check it. You can do some rubric, you can summarize videos, you can send emails. It has a lot of functions teachers can do with the Magic School AI. This is really very helpful and powerful too. This AI tool is for improving students who are preparing for IELTS. It's called Gabble AI. What's really good about this AI tool, that students are going, for example, in the speaking part, and this is the part I really tried with the students. The students are going to, I'm just going to show you quickly. This is the last thing I'm finalizing. I'm going to share with you the tool itself, the website itself. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so all the students are going to do is to record a 1 minute voice note answering this question. Can you tell me about where you live? So when the student is done, it's going to give the students a kind of transcript of what he really said, and then some insights like overall rating, filler words, what's missing, fluency, and everything. Then it will give you kind of feedback. So you have a good speech, but yes, you have some problems in. So this will be very, very helpful for the students. But it's not only about speaking, it's also about listening and writing. So it's very, again, useful tool for the students who want to improve and to learn more about their language. This website, again, is really interesting. It's IIU AI, which will help you as a teacher to teach like different skills for students. So they're going to watch a video, they're going to listen, they're going to speak, they're going to review, they're going to write. So you're going to teach the 4 skills in one lesson, and you can choose whatever lesson you want to share with your students. So this is very useful website, AI website, if you want to make sure that your students are really learning language and enjoying at the same time. That's it. Thank you so much. This is my Facebook account. If you want to just contact me at any time, I'll be very, very pleased to have some communication with any one of you. Thank you so much, Shalala. Thank you for listening. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much.
Yes, we always
Yes.
enjoy your wonderful presentations, dear. Thank you for joining.
Really.
By the way, this is the Scan Me. You can just scan it if you want for the website I shared with you today. So you can just scan this part, and you will find all the website I shared with you today. It will be my honor again to answer any question. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear. I'm gonna stop
Really,
sharing.
we enjoyed and learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you. I'm gonna stop sharing in a minute.
Yes.
Please.
Thank you.
Great.
Yes, dear, and we have our last presenter, our valuable teacher from Azerbaijan, Könül Gafarova. Okay, the floor is yours, dear. What do you
Good,
have to share with us?
good evening, dear all. I also want to greet you from Azerbaijan, from Sumgait, where I live and teach. And first of all, I want to share with you Mentimeter link. Can we? Shalala Hanım? Is it possible?
Yes, I think we can
Yes,
share
yes.
it. Fine. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
Now I'm
can.
sharing. And please make me host.
You can share now. No problem. No need host. You can.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually, I have done it.
Yes. You can. Because I make for everyone. Don't worry.
Okay. Can we answer? It will be my presentation, today's presentation, and I want you to answer this question. What is PBL?
So you want us to join, right? Using the code that you sent, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Enter this site, enter this link, and answer. Is there any problem? I think not, yeah?
No, I have entered successfully.
Great. Project-based learning. Yes, we have answers. Thank you.
It is obvious, many, I think.
Can you share on Facebook, Shalala Hanım? Maybe our teacher, other teachers also will answer. What is PBL? What does it mean?
Okay, I can see here 4 responses so far.
3 answers, yes.
3 or 4? Here it's written 4 on my screen.
No, 4 answers, but when you answer to the link, you can write 3 words.
Okay. Dear Inga, can you share it? Maybe you can share it on Facebook. I did it, but I don't know why it didn't work.
Okay, we can start with our presentation.
Okay, yes.
Let's continue.
Yes, thank you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Visible, okay. PBL, what it means, project-based learning. And today I speak about 15 PBL ideas fit for your classroom. PBL, or project-based learning, is a learning method in which students identify a real-world problem and develop its solution. Students gain knowledge and skills by working for a longer period of time to investigate and respond to an engaging or complex question, problem, or challenge. And you have to guide your students to identify through research a real-world problem of which they have to develop a solution using evidence to support the claim. They have to present their project through a multimedia approach based on a set of 21st century tools. Students show what they learn as they go through the unit, interact with the lessons, collaborate with each other, and assess themselves and each other. Why should you use project-based learning? Project-based learning is not something new, but teachers just didn't use it a lot. The ordinary way of teaching is teaching with disconnected lessons. Daily lessons that teach a skill which fits into a unit based on a topic or a theme. But each lesson works independently and doesn't connect to other units in a learning story. PBL provides opportunities for students to use technology. First of all, I want to mention it. Most students are using technology and apps almost every day, and they are familiar with and enjoy using a variety of tech tools. As it happens, tech tools can be a perfect fit with project-based learning. With those tools and apps, teachers and students can find the right resources, information, create products, and collaborate more effectively. They can even reach out to communities, experts, and partners. The second one is PBL promotes lifelong learning. What does it mean? It means that because technology is present, its use enables students, teachers, and administrators to reach out beyond the school building. PBL also teaches students to take control of their learning and the first step as a lifelong learner. Next is PBL connects students and schools with the real world. Project-based learning enables students to solve problems and address issues important to them, their communities, and the world. Through PBL, students learn how to interact with adults and organizations. They are exposed to real workplace and jobs, so they will develop career interests. Even parents and other partners can be involved in certain projects. The fourth one, PBL lends itself to formative and authentic assessment. Formative assessment allows us to systematically document a student's progress and development. Authentic assessment focuses on deep learning, asking through questions. And it allows students to demonstrate their capabilities while working independently. It lets teachers have multiple assessment opportunities. It shows the student's ability to apply skills such as doing research. It develops the student's ability to work with other students, building teamwork and group skills. The teacher learns more about the student as a person. It helps the teachers communicate in meaningful ways with a student or a team. Being able to give meaningful feedback is very important. And the fifth one, PBL encourages students to be more engaged and to learn actively. The fact that students are working on a project that has to be the key of solving a problem makes them more actively involved. A real project engages their mind and their hearts. It's a real world relevance for learning. 6.1, PBL builds skills for college, career, and life. Success in life requires more than knowledge and skills, and with PBL, students learn how to take initiative, be responsible, and build a good attitude. They learn to build their confidence, solve problems, work in teams, and communicate ideas. PBL encourages imagination and creativity. When you need to solve a problem, you have to be inventive and creative. PBL often asks to solve world-class problems. So, thinking out of the box is necessary. Because there are no real guidelines, visual design, drawing, and creating are very important elements within project-based learning. 15 project-based learning ideas for in your classroom. I have mentioned them here. I think that I don't need to read them. You can take and share with your partners. Plan and manage, design, illustrate, film a documentary, redesign the complete school, collaboration, community involvement, redesign public transport, create an interactive family tree, how to survive on a deserted island, develop a brand new invention, plan, work out a modern school library, for example, create and manage a YouTube channel, design a book, help local businesses, solve your parents' problem, for example. So, when you need to solve a problem, you have to be inventive and creative. And PBL often asks to solve world-class problems. So thinking out of the box is necessary because there are no real guidelines. Visual design, drawing, and creating are very important elements within project-based learning. Thank you for your attention. And here are the resources you can take. And Shalala Hanum, if we have time,
Yes,
I have created Kahoot. We can play it with our audience.
Okay, you can put it in our chat section, so we can share it. Yes, dear Inda.
Yes, dear. Send me and I send chat box.
I have shared on chat.
Send me messenger, dear.
I have shared.
Okay, can you take it from our chat box?
Can you see my screen? Shalala Hanum.
Yes,
Yes,
wait here, but 1 minute. Dear Shalala, send me messenger and I send this link in chat box, live chat box.
Okay,
Please,
dear.
Kahoot.it. Can you play it?
Okay, dear, can you take it yourself because till I open it, it takes time. Inga.
Yes, dear.
Okay, please.
If anyone watch us, they can also play with us. They only need to write kahoot.it on Google, then game pin, and you don't need to share, I think, Shalala Hanım.
Okay.
We have just one presenter here.
One
Participants. You also can join.
Yeah.
You can join via your phone. Write down kahoot.it. Then the game pin and your nickname.
Okay, dear. I think it's time, yes, to maybe summarize, yes. PBL, we have recently joined these sessions. It was very fruitful, as you remember. PBL is very essential in modern teaching.
Essential, yes, useful for students, both for teachers and students.
Yes, because you know, it fosters 21st century skills in them, like critical thinking, like problem solving skills.
Operation, yeah. Yes, we can start.
Yeah.
We are 3 here. Okay. You can watch questions from our screen, but answer.
Yeah, they can answer in the comment section. It will be easier maybe for them.
Not comment here. What is PBL? Choose the answer, please.
Yeah.
You can watch
and write your answers. Yeah.
Yes, please look on the screen. Look at the screen and choose answer. Their color of the answer. Yeah, color of the answer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where is next button? Next here. Heart is in the first place. Okay, next question is. PBL connects students and schools with real world, not real world, virtual world, and reality. Please choose the answers color on your phone. Okay, 2 correct answers. Heart and Kyangi. Okay, next is, does PBL promote lifelong learning? Yes, of course. Next is, PBL builds skills, life, career, all of them.
I'm not sure, but okay.
Yes, correct answers. We have Shalala, you are in. Great. PBL encourages courage, singing, creativity, reading, listening. Two answers. Great. And if you are creative and inventive, you can solve problems. How do you sing? We have two answers. Okay, now podium. Third place, Kangvi, you are? Shalala.
Oh, I'm in the second place. Great.
Second place. Heart in the first place.
Oh, great. Congratulations.
Hey, congratulations. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Yes, it was
Guys.
very interesting, engaging. Thank you, dear Könül Hanım, for
Thank you
presenting.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you for invitation.
Yeah.
You are amazing. Thank you so much. I share now again link for participants. Thank you so much to all of you.
Yes, for all of you, for joining us, for your patience. Thank you. And
Dear
safe travels on your educational journey. And until we meet again, just take care of yourself and keep the passion for learning burning bright.
Thank you for organizing such an interesting years.
Bye and see you in 2024.
Yes, thank you. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much, International Internship University and Mr. Piyush Pandit, all team, Georgian team, Mariam. Thank you so much for everything. We are really proud of you. Yes, thank you, dear Shalala. You are rock as always. Thank you all great speakers and of course all participants. Congratulations and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Well done.
Great.